Hello everyone, this is AmberAnkNA here. Welcome to my channel. Well, I play a variety of games and do narrations for fanfics. I'm really hoping you enjoy my content. If you do, make sure to comment below, leave a like, and subscribe with the notifications on. But until next time, this is AmberAnkNA. Welcome to my channel. So, hi. Hello. I want to say something before we start. I know the past 2 days, nothing been uploaded. But that's because I've been away from home. And basically, yes, I have my own room. But I'm very limited. Unlike how I am at home. Well, at home, I'm very limited too, but I'm lucky to have stuff available to go out and recorded. I'm lucky. So, but that said, I want you guys to know, today, I'm making up for it. Not only one video is going up, but 3. And the 3 going up is 3 chapters of the story. This will be chapter 5, chapter 6, and chapter 7. Those 3 will go up today. And what story am I talking about for the 3? Well, I'm talking about the only option left. With this short time, it's tool. Those 3 are gonna go up today. I really hope you guys are ready for it. I'm ready for it, that's for sure. So, I'm hype. If you guys are hype, we're gonna get started. But the only option left, chapter 5, the Mindspace. Mass? Mass! I'm here, love. The brunettes perceive a mild jolt of pleasure beginning behind her ears and slowly inching downward. It seemed like a trickle of stream water flowing down a rocky hill and passing over the tiny stones of love in her heart. She felt the same sensation earlier and resisted when her innermost, intimate, and private forces of soul were accessed without her substance. She discovered that her soulmate had tunneled inside of her, and after she consented, it was one of the greatest feelings she ever experienced. The last thing she remembered, seeing her daughter had broken into the lecture hall and were pop against each other in the aquarium seats, attempting to fall asleep. Her body felt limp and almost out of reach, but her mind had woken to a strange new reflection of hope. Her thoughts were cloudy and full of caution, but she woefully heard the sweet, tender voice that made her heart jump in her bare hands, and she knew everything would be just fine. Follow the broom, master! Clear words began to resonate with more clarity, and Max wanted nothing more than to find and squeeze her tall blonde goddess. Find your power and don't press down. Grab and pull. Then make your way to me. The blue? She questioned to herself, but received no response at first. Like an uncontrolled reaction, the brunette found herself strolling across the endless pastries of gray before locating the sweet spot. She never attempted it, even to herself, but the rewind self threatened her a little. At one time, she felt like she had mastered the power, but that time had long passed now. And she realized she knew far less about it than she ever imagined. Just as her partner requested, she gripped the tiny mount and lifted it upward. Holy shit! Her spies it slid perfectly within her grasp, and she viewed the most protracted sight. The inner workings of her mind were equally beautiful and inconceivable. She gazed around at the swirls and wisps of surgery and was blown away by how large this brave new world felt to her. Get it? Brave New World. The title of Right Phrase Before the Storm, Episode 2. Get it? It was vast and filled with more darkness than light, but she did not waver. You're almost there. I can feel you. Find my cool and last on. Her voice was amplified, so she knew she was getting closer. Scanning the area, she spotted a glow of blue cascading on the horizon. Excuse me. Sorry about that. She sniffed with delight and focused all thought on traveling to the waves of blue as quickly as possible. By the way, I didn't know that boat was coming, so sorry about that. I came out of nowhere. Her heart was leading her towards the glow, and no matter how fast she went, it didn't seem quick enough. And by sorry about a dog barking. He doesn't want to set up. So, yeah, sorry about it being background. You probably can hear it. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Her pace slowed as she approached the wing. It was magnificent and brilliant, and Max wanted nothing more than to drive in and bask in its warmth. The expectation was nearly overwhelming as she knew who she was about to connect and bond with. She reached out and, like holding hands, interwove her incense into the pressway fabric of the core, and suddenly she was transported to an infinitely vast and dimly lit area that looked like a ballroom. As awareness caught up to her, she found herself staring into the deep pools of sapphire that she longed to swim in again. Fuck! Chloe! She threw her arms around her wife and clutched her with all her might. It didn't feel like some distant thought in her mind. She was physically touching her favorite person in the world. God damn, I missed you! You fucking beautiful bitch! You made it! Chloe buried her nose in Master's hands, hail, and took a deep, heartfelt sniff, then let out a joyful coo. They stood in silence for several moments, enjoying the way curves of their bodies felt pressed together. The warmth was undeniable. This wasn't merely some dream or hopeful thought. The girls were together again, and it was real. I'm never letting you go. The words mentally pulled apart and softly pressed their mouths together, dragging their lips and tongue inside and all around the others in a playful game of tag. Again, sorry about the dogs barking. They don't want to shut up. They took a brief moment to breathe, and then Max whispered, "Good, because if you let go, I still be holding on with everything I have. This is where we exist for the rest of eternity. It would be more than enough. You're fucking perfect, babe. So groupie, Caulfield. That's Caulfield Price to you. Chloe raised her eyebrows a bit and bit her bottom lip. You're so sexy, Mass. When I hear our names connected like that, I just can't control myself. The hazy tresses and tangled tones grew with intensity, and before she knew it, the letters were on the floor in a pile of both selfless desire and passionate jealousy. Max dragged her tongue down her partner's jawline and teasingly kissed and licked her earlobe in the sensitive area behind it. She could feel Chloe's skin shiver and form tiny goosebumps that helped inform her to continue her approach. As her supple lips twirled for herself, she realized the girls were wearing their ivory-covered wedding dresses. She hadn't noticed it or even cared before, but her eyes gazed to her soulmate's hair, which flowed with silky locks of blue. For some reason, outside of her own understanding, the two girls existed within a partial memory. Their souls were together beyond reality. Yet it was a moment from their wedding day in this place, and they were alone together. The realization of where they were sought a cascade of energy for the small girl. Her body gave into its pull urges. She reached her hand up the foot of her wife's dress and, in a circular motion, began rubbing with close to sin intent on pleasing the love of her life. A likely person moaning a cascade drum from inside Max's best friend, easing her to not only continue but take the moment to the next level. She located the band that held the covering piece of fabric over her most evident areas and slid it to the side. Her fingers touched soft folds of skin, she continued the medium-paced circular motion while still kissing her neck. After several seconds, Max realized she was being touched as well. Chloe's joined in with the playfulness while pleasing her soulmate's body. It didn't surprise the sort girl, as her perfect person promised to make each moment special for her, and part of Chloe's charm was her essence. Each touch tingled and grew with a greater sensation than she ever felt, only comparing to the time they conceived at the cabin. Chloe removed her hand and accepted and located her body for where she lay. Their faces had been aligned directly across from one another previously. Now their heads were on the opposite ends in the shape of a yin and a yang. Max began curiously trailing her lips down her partner's thighs towards the tender destination where she longed to linger. She reached over with both hands and this swelled her lover who, in turn, did the same for her. Seamlessly, the girl's mouth reached their tongues in a moment perfectly in perfection. The girls equally give as they receive ending with service of love and trust. Chloe straight back around and lovers laid face to face. Clear blue eyes aligned, lost in each other's embrace. Max began tracing the covered black tattooed on her partner's right arm. She felt the little grays of Chloe's fingertips running over her face, playing connected dots for her freckles, as she did from time to time when she felt content. So, indescribable moments passed by as the girls enjoyed each other's complete companionship. All sense of concern was lost, and accepting in this place together was enticing. Per usual, the girls connected in a way with the rest of the universe listed in the background, so we'll fall in the non-important distance. This is all I ever wanted, Crow. Max broke the wait-free silence as he muttered in her favorite person's ear. All that mattered to me. She quickly realized that her last words were not entirely true. There was one other person that mattered to her at a deep and profound level. And it was the only reason she would want to leave her licensed voice. She needed to get back and figure out how to return home. Both the destiny of the future and her 2-year-old daughter needed their mothers. The thought of being away from Chloe, however, broke her heart and tormented her thought. I know what you're thinking, Massy Mass. The pair knew each other's bodies, hearts, and souls, like it was their own. We have to leave each other again, but it's only for a little bit. Look at it like this. We now have a secret place that only we share, and we can be together anytime we want. A brief silence set in as the married couple stared into each other's eyes. Each breath the only sounds. Plus, Chloe finally knew, you get to see my blue hair again when we heal, it seems. She ran her fingers through the blue from front to back until her head and wise her eyebrows. As per usual, Chloe's words made Max smile and a wave of confidence poured through her body. I do love my Crowberry. Not gonna lie. Shut up, dork. The tilly brunette laughed as she playfully pushed her partner's shoulder, then helped her to her feet. When standing, the couple hugged and teased each other with small, kittenless pecks all over each other's faces. So, how the hell do we get out of here anyway? Matt's question. Still didn't really want to leave, but I knew it was the next right thing. After all they'd been through, she knew the best thing to do was keep moving forward and take the next step. I guess we leave the same way we came, love. Maybe we close our eyes and I don't know. Does it give us some state? Chloe shrugged her shoulders and took a step back as if giving Max full authority to give it a try. Before we go, I just want to tell you how much I love you one last time, babe. I know we'll be back here or back in our universe together soon. This feels like it might be a while before we can see each other again. Just had no idea how to get back, and I worry it might take some time to figure it out. Matt stepped forward and snuggled back and bothering her face and her soulmate's chest. Two perfectly matched hearts held one another for an extended time, made her wanting to let the other go. If I'm being completely honest, I'm terrified. It feels different this time. The old girl slowly pulled away and locked eyes with her best friend, and strong expression materializing on her face, which produced a strange tingle of sadness in the small girl's heart. Max Caulfield, don't you forget about me. What? Chloe? Fuck! Did you fucking dare say that? Max was vivid. Her knees felt weight as she slightly trembled backwards. It was like all the cool air in her yawns had suddenly been replaced with hot, burning stones. A joke about losing her partner was the Wednesday she felt was off limits, and that face filled her soul with a terrible darkness. I'm so sorry, love. I had to. It was just a silly joke. Well, sorta. I still remember both choices at the end of the first song. Like, you know, somehow we experienced both realities. It's in the past and it doesn't really matter now, but our amazing love is so damn strong that that choice became irrelevant. We were gonna be together, and the doggone universe could never keep us apart. I probably shouldn't joke like that, but we both need to remember what we've been through. We kick death's ass, and we do it again and again if we have to. We look back at this one day and laugh. I'm telling you, we've been through worse, Massey Mouse. The brunette felt her face suddenly soften and she released her downcast eyebrows. She was pissed her wife would make a joke like that, but the girl made a lot of sense. She knew her partner's intention was to prove it to a point, and even if it was shocking, she realized she needed to hear it. Max, I fucking love you so damn much. There's nothing we can't handle together. And there's nothing to worry about. How about this? We plan to meet here tomorrow night and every night we are apart. If it takes you a while to get back to me, we at least get to see each other once a day. Does that sound like a deal? Promise you meet me back here? Promise, Dork? Promise. Max agreed. Corey cleaned forward for a kiss, but Max backed away with a playfully kiddish smirk grinning from below her nose. The beautiful girl lowered her head while clearly could still see wasn't about to be denied. Please both hands on the back of her lover's head and forced their lips together. This time Max didn't resist, and a series of sloppy yet tender kisses ensued. She felt Corey's fingers glide through her hair, tickling her scalp with sent a perishable shiver through her entire body. This was the goal of her dreams, and in spite knowing destiny and fate pulled them together, she felt like the luckiest girl alive. Suddenly, mid-kiss, a creasing, gong-like noise pierced through the silent embers of the ballroom, and both girls dropped to their knees, cupping their hands against their ears, hoping to muffle the hurriest sound. Looking at Corey, Max watches the gold fade away and the wood disappeared into the dark backdrop of nothingness. Happened so quickly she couldn't call out or even touch her wife one last time. A flash of white light and a rushing vortex of wind lifted Max's body and pushed her sideways, spinning her in midair before catapulting her full forward. All sight vanished and was vanished with a dark shadow. Though she was unable to see, she realized she felt this before when Destiny grist the previous day. She fought the maddening pressure of losing her mind from being outside the bounds of space and time, wherever they were. They were moving fast and reality appeared more abstract than defined, keeping her fast and focused solely on her curious wife and sweet little daughter, helped her maintain control and not go crazy. It occurred to the temporary sightless girl that she could feel the teenage present near as her body's cooled through the awareness towards the destination. Fuck! Passing backward past the whips and loops of circularly through the pillars of gray and into her bedroom, she found herself wide awake and under the seats. After a sad hour the evening before, she was determined to connect with the love of her life, and did so successfully. Her heart was still beaming. If she didn't know her partner's love the way she did, she would have been terrified the way the bond was ugly severed. In her heart, she still believed the same thing she always had. They were Max and Chloe, and they would be together for all time. Not long after her return, she felt a sharp cutting pain beginning her head, as burning outside her limbs and torso. Chloe rolled over on her side and balled up in a fetal position. Her entire body ached from head to toe like a full-body ice cream headache. Inside felt icy and cold, but awkwardly her body was on fire. A cold sweat dripped from her brow, and she uncontrollably shivered for the better part of half an hour. The effect of returning to the Lake Mindspace hurt like hell, but was more than worth it. Finally, the pain subsided, and she started feeling like her normal self again. Sitting up in her bed, she gazed over at the digital clock on the nightstand on her side of the bed. It was nearly noon, and she realized she hadn't called to check on their daughter yet. Her eyes were still heavy, and she knew coffee was very much needed. Usually, Max would either greet her bedside with a first cup, or she would have to have it brewed and ready in the kitchen. Similar took Max's love and care for granted, but while her soulmate around, Chloe appreciated the special things he did for her just a little more now. She wised up out of bed and went straight to the kitchen to start a first brew. The machine gurgled its back before a tiny stream of thick black trickled out aimlessly, filling the cup. Having not actually made coffee for herself in years, she wasn't sure about the correct proportions anymore. After pouring a cup and suiting it to her desired flavor, Chloe took a large gulp and enjoyed the slight burn as it hit her tongue and cascaded down her throat. So it was no concern, but it was easy to admit Max was much better at this than her. And much as she missed her wife's talents, the cafe might have hit just a bit harder with consolation. Before bringing the mug back to her lips for a second swipe, the doorbell chimed, startling the girl, who almost filled her coffee. Chloe walked from the kitchen to the front entrance of the town hall and peeped out the window slant beside the door. The friend and colleague, Victoria Chase, stood under the stoop with a large binder and several folders awkwardly positioned in her hands and tucked behind her arm. Despite a thin mist of rain and a sky lined by clouds of gray, the owner of the Chase space wore sunglasses behind a puckered and enduring smile. Chloe opened the door and the girl walked in before the first word was even said. Super glad to see the new digs. This place is charming. Your hair. Love the bar head. Where's Max? We plan to go with photos for the question today. Victoria was speaking way too fast for the taller girl's liking. Having just woke up, she stepped aside and watched as her guest set her belongings on the coffee table, spreading out the contents of her binder and folders. She's not here, Chloe spoke while shrugging her shoulders and looking down at her feet. Not here? Yeah, right. You two love books are never far from one another. Makes me sick. Kidding, of course. You're so cute. But anyway, where is she for real? And where is that beautiful little girl of yours? I'm so she'd love to see Aunt Vicky. Destiny is with her grandparents. Speaking of, you get everything set up and I go through the photos with you in a moment. I need to make a quick call. No offense, Chloe, but Max usually likes to handpick which pieces go up. Do you think she would mind not having input? Like, do you even know what you're doing? A tiny spot of defensive anger formed in the freshly caffeinated girl's mind. I may not be half the goddamn photographer Max's. Chloe help. I know what she likes. I can do this. Just give me a moment to make a phone call. Sauntering away, the enjoyed girl grabbed herself the call for Vanessa. For some reason, Victoria always rubbed her the wrong way, even though she knew the gallery owner didn't mean any harm. Max always told her to look beyond Victoria's words. She really cared about her friends. She just didn't word things the right way a lot of times. Vanessa didn't even hesitate. She was thrilled to keep Destiny another night. The toddler jumped on the phone and asked her mom to video chat. Chloe missed her daughter very much, so she hit the FaceTime icon and the little girl appeared. Zachariah grinned the rub as she sailed into the magnificent blue eyes that glittered through the phone screen. She regretted sending her to her grandparents' house, but it was better this way as she worked to get Max back home safely. She didn't want to admit it, but she felt her partner was partly correct. This time, it might take a while for things to get back to normal. After a conversation with Vanessa and Destiny, Chloe rejoined her guests on the couch in a much better mood. Whether she was mostly gazing into her best friend's beautiful eyes or lovingly sharing a smile with her daughter, her little family lit a candle in her soul. The love for each other not only kept her strong, but filled her heart with a delight of joy. When Chloe entered the car and walked back over to the couch, she noticed Victoria spread the photographs out on top of the table. She had pulled a few boxes over to the side. The pictures were considerably took up more room than expected, and the million boxes served as perfect overflow surfaces. After nearly an hour of discussion and light debate, the new question had been chosen. 3 new pieces would go up in a couple weeks' time, and Chloe was very proud of herself. I give it to you, girl. You know what you're doing. I'm sorry I doubted you earlier. Chloe noticed a grin form on her guest's face, and she knew the girl was about to say some smart remark. But to be fair, this is Maxine Caulfield's work. You could have picked any combination of 30, and it would have worked perfectly fine. That's Maxine Caulfield price, Vickers. You better get it right or pay the price. Her could pat her with narrowed eyes and confusion wearing her face. Get it? Price? The girl stared an awkward smile, then gathered the items, placing them back in the folders and binding in the order they had selected. Well, the sort girl began. I guess that's it. I was hoping to grab lunch with you and Max. They were gone. I suppose I just go. It's again for your help. She turned towards the door and was about to leave and head back into the city. Wait! Chloe hesitated. Why don't we, go get something to eat? That's me and you. My treat. She wasn't sure if she was going to regret it, but the last hour or so hadn't been all that bad. Chloe was sure there would be awkward moments, but she missed her soulmate and wanted the company. She considered totally back through the Mindspace to feel the connection again. But she didn't want to cause any trouble for Max and Jess that they were working on coming home. Yeah, that would be nice, Ashley. Thank you. Chloe changed clothes and quickly brushed her teeth. Most time when she was getting ready to go out, she looked hard to smell and looked not ace for Max. Her timidly out of the picture, she didn't care as much about her appearance. The two bonds walked outside and got in the Subaru with the intention of staring a meal together. Chloe would never have dreamt of a time when she was glad to be around Victoria. But in a small and a subtle way, the girl reminded her of her partner. Not in personality or appearance. They were extremely different in many ways, but she admired Chloe that her wife, despite being enemies in high school, had forgotten about the person Victoria used to be. Max's heart was so big she only cared to see the good in others, and that thought filled her heart with delight. Wake up! Gotta go! Dust took her mother's body with no set. Someone's coming! She pulled the brunette with all of her strength, but no matter what it was. Master's brave, but still completely out of consciousness, with her head opposite the backrest of the cushion seat. God damn it! Fine, there's always a choice. I love you, Mom. Here we go. She kissed the older girl on her fur chair, closed her eyes, and then the two women vanished from the auditorium. Oh boy. Oh boy. So, what you think is happening? Anyone that knows what's happening? Like me? No spoiling. No spoiling. No spoiling in the comics. Please don't. There's a reason why I don't want spoils. I want the new people that don't know the story to learn what's happening. So, no spoils in the comics, please. Just take a guess. Random guess. Just a random ass guess. That's all. Basically. Anyways, next chapter. We gotta read it right away because I did say we're reading chapter 5, chapter 6, and chapter 7. And it's all going up today. Be happening in it? Well, wait and see it. Anyways, chapter 6 is coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Hi everyone. This is AmberAnkNA 2000 again. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Because, I really did enjoy making it. But, so I hope you enjoyed it. Comment, like, and subscribe with the notifications on down below. Till next time, bye!